Hello my dear ones, I hope you're all doing well. It's been a few months since my last upload, I know, but I'm finally back again. Winter is settling in here in Austria, the cold has arrived and we've already seen our first snowflakes. Well, and for this doll, she challenged me more than I accepted. I started working on her back in August, believe it or not, but the vision I had just wouldn't come together. No matter what I tried, it didn't match the idea in my head, and that was the reason why it took me so long to complete her. Well, after a couple of face-ups and a plenty of redos, she's finally done and I can't wait to show her to you. As you've already seen from the title, this theme is very wintry, icy and filled with cool tones. But the true highlight of this project, the main event, is her glow. Because I used the glow-in-the-dark and UV reactive fluorescent colors to give her this magical illuminated feeling. Her bubble and several details on her body come to life under UV light, creating this soft glow that makes her look like she's stepping out of a dream. Well, let's move on the preparation of the doll. As you've already seen, we start by cutting the doll's original hair as short as possible. Then I remove her factory face using 100% of Aceton. After that, I place her head into hot water for just a few minutes. This softens the vinyl and makes it so much easier to take the head off the body. Once the head is removed, I use a small tool to pull out the remaining hair from the inside through the neck opening. And as always, I'm using the shrinking method to shrink my head. Off they go! See you in a few days! In the next step, I want to show you the plastic sphere that I used. A hard plastic ball that will become her bubble. It's made in 2 halves and unlike some other spheres, it doesn't have a hole at the bottom. That means we first have to create one, so that we can attach it to her neck and carefully close it together. This glowing sphere part honestly was one of the trickiest moments for me. I knew from the beginning that this sphere would be the main feature of the doll, the glowing element that really brings her to life. But the challenge was to figure out how to make it glow without painting it over, because if I did, the light wouldn't shine through and her face would be covered. So I had to pause, rethink and plan exactly how to make this part work. It's one thing to imagine it in my head, but quite another to turn it into reality. But for now, let's move on to the dress, which I will be sculpting from Apoxie Sculpt. As I mentioned before, I want her bubble and the other glowing elements to be the main focus, the true highlights of this doll. That's why I'm keeping her dress very simple without any details, so it won't distract from the glow. And another important point is that I want her surroundings to feel a bit dark and mysterious, black and shadowy, so that all the shiny glowing elements really stand out. This contrast will make the glow-in-the-dark future even more magical and give the doll a unique atmosphere. Cute belt, some buttons here and there, and the dress is complete. To be honest, this was the easiest part. Here I want to show you the 2 walls that I downloaded and printed with my 3D printer. I also printed several different books in various shapes and stacks, because I'm not sure yet which one to use for the scene. As you can see, the right wall unfortunately didn't print completely, so we will have to fix that one later using foam clay. So I start placing the doll between the two walls and giving her a book to hold. I'm trying out different positions to see which one fits best with the environment and creates the most balanced natural composition. I only know for sure that she will be sitting and looking upward, with one hand stretched out, exactly how I imagined her from the very beginning. And as said, my 3D printer doesn't always cooperate with me. Or maybe I did some wrong settings, I have no idea. But I need to fix the top part myself using foam clay. It's a little extra work, but hey, sometimes you just have to roll up your sleeves and take matters into your own hands, literally. And by the way, this doesn't need to be perfect, because this area will later be covered with plants and snow anyway. So once the walls are set in place, we can start painting them in various dark tones to give them more depth and character. I begin with a base of silver, and the brand I'm using is Paint, and the color is called Forged Iron. This gives the walls a metallic undertone that will really pop once the dark colors are applied. After that, I use my airbrush to apply a mahogany brown wash over the whole surface. These steps adds shadow and dimension, brings out the texture of the bricks and creating a more realistic aged effect. Layering these colors slowly allows me to control the contrast and mood, making sure the walls feel natural and perfectly matched to the rest of the scene. Here, as you can see, I'm just using a black wash technique to give the whole surface more details and more darkness. For those of you who might not know, a black wash is a painting technique where you use very thin dilated black paint to bring out the details and textures of a surface. The paint flows into the crevices and cracks while the raised areas stay mostly clean. So this creates shadows and depths and a more realistic look without covering the whole surface in black. And here you can see me highlighting the individual stones on the wall. This little extra step really helps to bring the bricks to life. Here we go! Next up, the hair. It's super important that before we close the bubble permanently, that we finish her hair and her entire face up. Because once the bubble is sealed, there is no going back, so everything has to be perfect beforehand. There is no redos in here. When it came to choosing her hair color, I knew right away that it had to be something very light, because the bubble and all the glowing fluorescent elements around her will already have so many colors and visual effects. I didn't want her hair to introduce even more contrast. A bright, soft tone keeps her look gentle and lets the glow-in-the-dark features stay the main event. And now finally we get to start working on her face. My favorite part, but also the most stressing part. Here I'm beginning to add her shadows using soft pastels. I went for a purple tone and I'm brushing it over her cheeks, around her eyes, on her shoulders, elbows, basically everywhere that needed a little drama. What was really important to me here is the light. Since she will be surrounded by glowing fluorescent elements later, especially that bubble, her face and the body needed to reflect that light realistically. You know how skin picks up colors when you stand near something bright? That soft magical glow on the side of your face? That's exactly what I wanted to recreate. So I started building these colorful reflections, adding hints of pinks, purples, blues, yellows, and even introducing some fluorescent paints into her features, her eyes especially. I wanted them to feel like they're catching the glow and almost shining from within. It's a slow process, layering all these tones bit by bit, but this is where she truly starts coming to life. Here I'm adding the Vallejo game color in fluorescent blue on the eyeliner and already checking the glow out because I was too impatient for this. Just look how the glow already is. Super cool, so bright. As you can see, she already had colorful reflections, a cute eyeliner, and these bright UV blue eyes that I checked with my UV light about 1,000,000 times. I swear I looked like a security guard on night shift. Also I added some pink fluorescent shades, a little yellow on top, and I really tried to trust the process. But the process started looking a bit gooey and sticky, like a fluorescent gummy bear left in the sun. Not exactly the vibe I was going for, to be honest. Of course I tried saving it. More shadows, more highlights, changing the eye color even, erasing parts, adding parts, the full artist panic routine. But in the end, I knew it had to go. If I'm going to keep working on her, I actually have to like her face. So yes, I wiped the whole thing and started fresh. And 5 hours gone. My soul left my body for a second. But hey, that's the artist's life, right? Sometimes the face says no, and you just have to respect that. So let's do everything again. 1 second for you and 4 more hours for me. But here it is, the new face. And honestly, I'm so glad I made that decision, because now she looks exactly the way I imagined her. This is the face I wanted from the beginning, and it finally feels right. And of course she has an awesome glow as well. And now, finally, it's time to close her bubble permanently, using some UV resin. Thanks God her hair is pretty thin and could fit within the hole through the neck area. And after everything is permanently sealed, it's finally time to decorate the bubble and make it shine and pretty and beautiful. And first up, I'm going to use this reflective whitish, pinkish flakes. I think they would be very, very pretty under the light. Also, I really had to be careful while adding all these decorations because I didn't want to cover up her face. I know the bubble will make everything look a little hazy, a little less sharp, of course, since it's a thicker plastic piece, but I still want her face to stay as visible as possible, even through that soft, foggy look. I'm sure by now you've already started wondering what in my bubble might mean for this doll. Maybe you've even imagined parts of her story yourself, since the next few minutes of the video will be all about decorating and painting. I would like to take this moment to tell you her true story. In a forgotten corner of a frozen world, a girl sits barefoot in the snow, nested between crumbling walls. The winter around her is harsh and silent, the kind of cold that bites into skin. Yet, she doesn't seem to react. Snow gathers over her feet, but she barely notices, because her heart is somewhere else. Through the books she holds and the stories she loves, she has created a small world of her own, a glowing bubble where colors still exist. A place where imagination offers warmth that reality cannot. From the pages of her books, butterflies rise and gather around her, settling on her bubble and her hand as if guarding the little light she carries. The world outside remains dark, icy, and distant, but inside her bubble there is quiet, there is color, there is life. She doesn't escape the cold, she transforms it. Because sometimes, even in the darkest winters, when everything feels frozen, we can still protect a spark within us. A place to breathe, a place to dream, a place to glow, even in the dark. Well, that's what this doll means to me. She's a reminder that even in our coldest moments, we can hold into a little warmth deep inside us and let it grow. I hope she inspires you to find your own bubble too, whenever you need it. And on Pinterest I found these awesome symbols that stands for love. And I thought of doing some glowing graffiti art on these boring walls. Time to brighten up those butterflies with some different fluorescent colors. And yes, I am painting in the dark. That was just way easier. To make the butterflies appear as if they're floating out of the magical book, I use UV resin on a clear sheet. After placing it under a UV lamp, the resin hardens and keeps the exact shape I want. And here is the finished book, with the butterflies rising from it. The only thing left to do is paint the butterflies using fluorescent colors, so we can see them in the dark. Now you can see that I've placed the doll and the books into their final position. I also started adding some plant decor to the walls in purple and blue tones. This helps blend the entire scene together and makes the doll feel more connected to her surroundings, instead of standing out too separately. Before moving on to the snow effects, I varnished the walls, the floor and the books to seal everything in. That way I can safely apply the snow spray without damaging the layers underneath. And for the snow itself, I used a combination of artificial snow and, like I showed you before, a luminescent pigment powder, so that even the snow will glow in the dark later on. Because if everything else in this world glows, the winter should too, right? And here it is, the very first time we see her fully come to life under UV light. The bubble is glowing, the butterflies are lifting from the pages, and even the snow shimmers in the dark. All those tiny elements we've worked on separately now merge into one moment. And this is her without any light at all, in complete darkness. And here with darkness and UV light. I love the way she glows. We did a pretty good job, I think. And behind the scenes, you may notice traces of scientific experiments, paint explosions, and emotional support snacks. All perfectly normal steps of the creative process. Well, thank you so much for staying with me through this almost 25-minute journey. I truly appreciate every single one of you, those who've been here from the beginning, and all of you who recently joined. Your support means more to me than you know. I really hope In My Bubble made you smile, maybe even inspired you a little, or at least gave you a tiny glowing moment today. Thank you for being here, thank you for supporting my art, and I'm so happy to have you all in my bubble. See you in my next video, take care!